All right, it worked. It worked. This is always the fear because there's like so many moving pieces that I have to do in order for this to like work the right way, and half the time I hit the wrong button. So, welcome everybody. It is Monday night. We are so thankful, so thankful that you are joining us. It is very much appreciated. Of course, they're probably all getting the ads, so they're not even hearing what I'm saying. But if you didn't notice, it's not John, it's not Cubby, it's myself, and we've brought back Art and Aaron because we had such a good time the last time that I figured, you know what, we gotta have these guys back. So
Thank you.
tonight we're finding out if you're going to be on Santa's nice list or his naughty list. No, what we want to talk about tonight is ideally, if you could, there's going to be a couple different areas that I'm going to go with. So to kind of preview for everybody that's checking out, like the topic was, what do you hope Santa brings this year? And I'm going to throw my little disclaimer, right? If you're not a Santa believer and you are Jewish or you Kwanzaa or any of the other ones that don't do Santa, put in your appropriate piece here, right? If you're hoping the gift shows up under the menorah, okay. We're not being judgmental. I'm wearing the red and green, and Art's got the red and green lights. And Aaron, we need to paint your wall green a little.
He's got red.
I got red. It's all Christmassy. I picked this one instead of the green one this time. I picked green last time.
Okay. Well, he's halfway there. He's halfway.
I'm working on it.
It's all good.
I'm a work in progress.
He's living on a prayer.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. But no, what I was hoping we would talk about tonight is ideally we're going to kind of work our way through the types of gear that we would hope show up, right? But then I wanted to kind of go out on a limb because right now we can all have this wish list of stuff that we see comes out, right? And we're like, oh, I really want that, or I really want this, and whatever. But at the end, I also want us to kind of go a little hypothetical, right? So this gear, this is when we get to that part, this is going to be gear that doesn't necessarily exist yet, but we would hope the elves would make it and make it appear for us. Okay. So let's, I try to. Yeah, I didn't tell you about that one. I wanted that. So I'm telling you now, so you can kind of think while each other's, kind of answering in here.
Okay.
But let's start out.
Okay.
Let's start out. Because we're all three of us are mobile guys. Each does kind of some other things as well, but we'll kind of stick to the mobile piece more than any of the others. What I would like you to discuss right now, like let's go weddings. All right. Because sometimes they have their own piece. Ceremony systems.
Yep.
What is something that you could utilize for ceremonies that you hope shows up here in a little under 2 weeks?
I had this on my list as number 3. The Evers, Evers 8s. I mean, everybody's all over these right now. They're a great piece of hardware. From the reviews I've heard, everything, they're a really good sounding speaker, and they got some kick to it, and they've got some throw, and they sound good. I currently have like the Bose ones, the SP1 Pros, but I would not turn down a pair if they're under the tree. I would definitely utilize them. The functionality that Evie put into those speakers and the ability, like with the power output, I absolutely, as soon as I saw, I believe it was Brian S. Red, shout out to Brian, my friend BSR there. When he turned it around and I saw the output, the power output, so you could hook up your ceremony mic, I'm like, oh, brilliant. Good job, Evie. Good job. I would not frown at that present at all.
So a little side note, if you have not checked out the video afterwards, we'll try and get John to post a link in the description here. But if you have not yet checked out the video that John did, John just recently, for the four main ones, there's a fifth one that I think some people commented like, oh, you forgot that. And he didn't have it, so he didn't post it.
John did do those,
But JBL's Eon 1 Pro, the Everse 8, the SP1 Pro from Bose, and then the Mackie Thump Go. So those are the 4 that he did a video on. So check out that video at some point. Like I said, well, I'll mention to John, he'll get in the description so you can see that, or just search it. You'll find it on our channel. But yeah, 8 verse 8. That thing, awesome. Yes. Art, how about you?
Yeah, the EV, right? The verse, that's something I think, again, that's worth taking a look at. I wouldn't turn it down. I'm using the S1 Pros right now as well. It's a great system. I think that maybe a better, and maybe I have to search around for a little bit, but a better like laptop / mic speaker stand kind of mount. Because the ones out there right now, I've got one that a friend of mine made that's really well built, and the ones that you get off of Amazon or wherever the A1000, 2000 or whatever they call them, it's this tray that the laptop doesn't quite fit in it right, if that makes sense. Sometimes it overlaps, so it's easy to slide off. So that's one thing that I'd like to see. The battery powered systems, right? I'm talking like the Jackeries, those. I've seen a lot of people use them, and they're also really good apparently for the photo booth industry. So I do both, DJing and photo booth. It would be nice to have that as a backup, because I'm always about having a backup. So for God forbid, the battery pack on the Bose speaker does go kablooey for some reason, and I'm out in a place where there is no outlet, I'd like to have that as a backup. So probably a Jackery system, something like that.
I have a Blue Eddy AC50 I bring to my ceremony events just for the same reason. A lot of our stuff here is pretty remote, and I've been using it now, I believe, coming up 2 years, and I'm really happy with it. I really like the Blue Eddy stuff. And I do believe they're putting in the it's lithium iron phosphate battery, the LifePo 4, people are calling it. Those are the ones you want. Howie did a segment on that recently too, and he knows those things in and out. But yeah, those are great.
Listen, I'm not gonna buy anything that Howie recommends, because Howie can run like an 18-inch sub, 2 of them, 15-inch tops, a controller bigger than anything else, a laptop, 14 microphones, all on like 5 AA batteries. I don't know how he does it.
He's a wizard.
He is. I tease. But because he showed me one time, because this is like before the Jackeries, before like the Energizers, the Blue Eddy and all that. I'm sure they existed, but before they were kind of like common knowledge in ours, he was legitimately putting together a rechargeable batteries, like of AA's, like a brick, and was powering these systems off of it in ways that your jaw would drop open. Like, he has the knowledge of that stuff that I think the only person who could beat him on is Ben, and it's not by much within that realm. I personally, I want paddles. I think that's my next thing. So I use
for your mics,
for my mics. Yeah. Not to beat somebody with.
I was wondering, you play ping pong at the ceremony event would be kind of fun, but
that would be kind of cool. No, we do beer pong instead of
beer pong. Yeah.
I mean, no, I want paddles for my mics. I don't really have an issue with dropout. I don't really have, in ceremonies, I'm very blessed in the way that I am, but the way I set my systems up, I'm a little bit farther away. I like my speakers. I like to send my speaker to the sound of my speakers wireless, and I like to have that piece. And so sometimes where an officiant is in relative to where I am, I've noticed that my signal drops a little bit. Not drops out, but if I'm looking at the meter, right, I want it full, and every once in a while it'll drop to like 2/3, and I go, just don't move, officiant. Don't don't back away too far. Like, I've done all the clear scans, I've done all that, but it's just in the moment with comparison with distance and all that. And the battery pack's on their back, and I'm in front of them. Like, all the all the stuff that just creates an issue.
There's nothing wrong with having that, want to have that assurance that, what you're able to make sure that it's going to hit where you need it to go. I did a wedding this summer, and they showed me where I was set up. Oh, okay, perfect. And where all the chairs were set up, I was right beside the mix of the people. And then they showed me where the officiant and the people were going to get married by a cliff edge.
Oh, geez.
Way like 200, 300 feet away. Like, whoa, you want my mic to go there to here.
Yeah.
Why aren't you standing here? Like, please come this way a bit more. I was really concerned, and I didn't have a dropout. And you know what? I'll give a little shout out to my mic. I picked up the Phoenix Pros. I know I'm a Sennheiser guy through and through, and I have been forever. I really like my Sennheisers. I've had Shure, I've had really good mics, I've had really bad mics, but dollar for dollar, I'm telling you, the Phoenix Pros have been really good for me. I'm not endorsed by them. They're not paying me to say that. I don't get a discount on their stuff, but I've been really lucky with them for distance. I'm sure that was 300 they were at. I was right on that cusp at like, they were out there, and I'm like, I'm not sure about these right now. I was sweating. I'm not gonna lie.
I think this is where you need Ben Stowe to kind of chime in at some point, because like I had a similar situation. I was using GTDs at a wedding this summer, and I mic'd up the officiant and the groom, and I'm like way off. They're way far away from where the ceremony's at, and I'm like, there's no way the mic's gonna be picked up from that far away when they're getting ready. They were getting picked up. I had to book across the freaking field, like, no, the volume's up, and he's like doing swear words, and that was a GTD mic. I was like,
oh wow.
Yeah, but it was kind of like, I think the same situation. You were near a cliff, so you were kind of like in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah, but I did have 300 guests with their phones on in between us. There was 300 people there.
Yeah.
320.
I did not think my mics were going to be picked up that far away.
No, I thought for sure there's no way with all these cell phones in there. I'm like, this ain't going to work.
And that's
suck.
the big thing. It's like, when you don't expect it, that's when it shows up, right?
But that's where that battery pack came in handy. I had that Blue Eddy with me. I had it ready to go just in case it was dropping out. I was going to run that thing across as far as I could, and then plug the receiver into that, and then run a 50-foot XLR back to the speaker to try to bridge that gap between me and them. I'm like, if that mic starts dropping, I'm like in a sprinting position, holding the battery with a 50-foot XLR. I'm like, okay, if this is going to drop, I'm running. I'm going to go out of the tent. I'm going to go all the way down as far as I can. And I'm going to try to make sure we got sound.
Yeah.
I was sweating. I'm not going to, I was like nervous.
Yeah. One of the things you said, Dan, at the beginning of the show was, and some of the things that the elves, we wish they would make a kill switch, just like everybody else's frequencies, but mine at any given moment.
Oh man.
Well, I'm sure they make
that's like Dr. Evil level stuff where you're going to eliminate their phone.
Oh yeah, everybody but mine. Like mine's.
I'm shutting you out. This frequency's mine. Whoa.
All of our hacker friends that we all know and love, they're like,
yeah,
just talk to me. I can be your elf.
There's a guy I know.
Big red
There's
button.
a guy I know in Houston. He's probably doing it right now.
Yeah. All right.
Call it the hijackery.
Right, so let's shift gears a little bit. I'm going to skip over cocktails because I have a feeling for the most part, if we were to look at cocktails, it's probably going to be something very similar, right? You might be like a battery powered speaker of some sort,
right?
Or some sort of connection with that. So let's jump ahead a little bit here, and let's jump right into the reception, and let's go for the audio component first. Let's start speakers and kind of work our way in. Speaker wise, what are you hoping? What were you hoping that what might arrive for you? I'll go first. Originally I'm going to go to what I hope the elves make later, but for what really exists right now, I would like a white pair of Evolves. I'm not sold on enough that I want to go out and I want to buy a pair of white Evolves right now because I have the black ones. But if they kind of like what you guys said, if someone showed up, yeah, because there's been a couple different times where I'm like looking at decor and I'm going, my black really sticking out like a sore thumb right here. Yeah. And again, is anybody noticing besides me? No, but I'm noticing it. And I'm like, if I had white ones, they might really pop a little bit better in the right space. So that's my piece there.
I'm with you on the white Evolves. I have them and I love them, but I mean,
you have a set of white Evolves?
I've got the white Evolves because of it matches my Infinity DJ console, so it's like the perfect match. But speakers wise, so the Evolves are great, but I'm worried. I've never done any really huge crowd weddings yet. So the Evolves have gotten me through every wedding that I've done without problem, up to about 200. But I've got a 250 coming up, and it's a rather large room. I'm going to need some more bass or a little bit more sound to carry through.
I wouldn't even just say bass. You're gonna want some more sound just in general.
Just something.
You get up to a big room, you get up to 250. You're gonna have people that it's just gonna absorb. It's gonna
Yep.
absorb everything. It's really gonna absorb your lows, but it's gonna absorb everything.
Mhm.
If I were you, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Dan. Go ahead. I'm gonna wait. You go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say, if I were you for this one event, I might look into a rental or reaching out to a buddy who has a set of traditional tops and lows that you could throw in that are going to give you that bigger hit. I mean, and then maybe use your Evolves for some fill in some other spots.
You're right, and I've got that. My friend Chris Marks, if he's watching, thanks for offering your system up. So he's done that room before, and he knows what goes in there. So most likely I'll end up borrowing from him for that, or renting from him for that one wedding, because I don't want to go out and buy a whole new system just for one wedding. So you're right, renting or borrowing is the best way to go for that.
Yep. Aaron, what were you gonna say?
Can you fit 250 people on the dance floor in that venue?
No, you can't.
Okay, so I've had to stop myself numerous times from going back and ordering a set of Bass Boss and RCF tops, just a massive overkill system, for the simple fact is I stop myself and I say, you know what, do you really need that, that Yorkville double 18 bottoms? And I'm really, when I get there, I take a look at the dance floor. How big is the dance floor? Because really, do we need to light up the whole room? I had a really big wedding I had a couple actually last year. And the one couple I talked to them, I said, listen, I know you're bringing 300 people and I know the venue and I know it's quite large. But the dance floor isn't that big. I still want you to carry a conversation outside there with your grandma. I still want this to be at normal speaking volume so that you can still have a conversation with your family. I said, my focus here today, and this is what I'm going to do for you guys, is I'm going to light up the dance floor, and that's it. So if you want it loud, get close to me. If you want it quiet, move away. If you want to go talk to your grandma, you can move into the back corner, and it's not gonna hurt you. I mean, 250 people with your Evolves, I would just say this with your client and sit down and talk and listen, I'm going to light up your dance floor. It's going to sound amazing on here. I've got really high-end stuff. I'm running the 50s, and they're great speakers, but I don't want to light up the entire room, because that was a complaint I'd had years ago. A lot of people are saying it's too loud. It's too loud. It's too loud. And I understand from a sound standpoint that you want enough power that if that crowd is that type of people where they want this entire room to bounce and they want the ceiling to raise, absolutely. So I would have the conversation first before jumping the gun on a second system or something, and just say, listen, would you rather this or would you rather this? Like, tell me about your people. And I would go back to them first. And if I have a party next year and they've specifically asked for a PK rig, a friend of mine is a PK guy, and he has like a full EDM PK rig, and he said, we're coming in on it because this is what they wanted. The groom specifically told me, he said, I want it to hurt. I want you to hurt us. He said, I want it so loud. So I have a production guy here that's got a full PK rig, and he's going to be coming with me for that one. It's 300 people, and it's outside. It's in a tent, and we're going to be using PK double 18s, and we're going to be using 412 tops. And it's going to be just, I don't know if you've ever used a PK rig, but those things are amazing and they're very loud. There's no top to them. They don't stop.
Yeah.
You can just keep turning them up. But
I know the couple really well.
Conversation. I would have the conversation first with them and say, listen, you know what? I want to do this right for you. Do you want loud? Do you want the ability to get really, really loud? Or is this more your style? Because some people come back, and I know I've spent a lot of money on rental stuff and picked up a big Yorkville rig and go back and I'll be like, I didn't need any of that. I didn't need it. It wasn't the crowd for it. They didn't, they were all in their 50s, and I get there and they didn't want it. They said, you turn it down.
Yeah.
More often than not. And I'm like, I didn't need this. I could have brought my two K12s and it would have been fine.
Yeah, and I know the family is, they're good friends with mine, so I know what kind of music they want, and it's definitely not the EDM. It's definitely not the booming club sound. It's your classic
You might-
wedding. So I probably could get away with it, but I'm going to add something to it. I'm going to add just a little bit just to
Might
bring
not
it
need
over
it.
that edge.
What if you brought in, say, a couple fill speakers for the front in the middle?
That's what he
space
was
your EVs
saying.
out, put your two Bose SPs in the middle, and just fan them slightly because they're 120, right? So just toe them out and just
Precisely
create
what he
some
was
center
saying.
fill.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
my friend Chris was saying. He was saying, he's like, why don't you just put,
Yeah.
you know, a couple in the middle on the floor,
Yeah.
point them up,
Center fill.
almost like they're like monitors, right?
Yep.
So you know what? And I know them so well that if it doesn't go great and it's not 100% perfect, which I want to because I know them well, they're not going to kill me over it.
It'll be
So here's the
not
nice thing
100%
is,
perfect for you. For them, they're going to be like, that was off the hook.
Yeah.
You're great. Art,
Pretty
you're
much.
the best.
Yeah.
I know how
but
that's gonna
if
go.
Santa shows up with a nice four speaker
Okay.
system with
Yeah.
you know some triple 18s and
Baseball.
No, I wouldn't turn them away. Not at all. Poor little elves have to carry those things. Whew, they're going to get squashed.
the magic of Santa, it just shows
Mhm.
up. I will say so. Let's talk hypothetical for a moment. All right. If I were to
Oh.
have if if
The
the elves
audio
could
for
make
me?
it, if the elves could make it,
Okay.
I would go. I'm gonna call it an Evolve 75.
There you go.
Right. That's what a lot of people have talked
Okay.
out there. I mean, the talk has been since it's come out to have something that's a little bigger. Like I don't need an 18, right? I don't need, something huge, but having something that might give me a 15 on the bottom gives me a different type of bass hit.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not looking for some big thundering bass that's going to shake their body or anything else. I'm not looking for that, but there's a different type of a bass sound that comes from a 15 or even an 18 that doesn't come from a 12. The type of quick punch versus that longer punch, and obviously there's the throw and all that stuff too.
You get a bit more
So if the
depth
elves
out
are going
of
to
it.
make me a 75 with a 15 bottom, so in other words, it still has that portability, but it gives me a little extra. That'd be nice, elves.
I like that.
Yep. For sure. Absolutely. If I could pick one if I could get a brand new set of QSE K12s, I'd be really happy. Like brand new, like the original ones, not the 0.2s, not the whatever else they're cooking something else here. And I've had the line array system, I've had the KLAs, I've had all that, and I would love another brand new set of K12s. I would love
the originals. I think were great. You're not the first person I've heard who's had the
I still have a
the
set.
0.2s and wanted to go back.
Mine are about 6 years old, and I don't think I'll ever sell them, but I'd love another set. If I had one more set of those, I'd be really happy. It'd be brand new ones. Yep.
Nice. All right. Art, any magical ones within the speaker setup?
No, not really. I mean, other than what we talked about, I really like that idea of the 75s. Tell you what, the lighting though.
Yeah, let's switch over to lighting then.
It's hard to know everything that's out there, but every time I see one of those gig bars or whichever one that they have all the different things on it, and then there's a laser at the top. Could you please make one without the laser? Like, why?
Yeah.
It's number one, it's annoying. Number two, it messes with photographers' pictures. I know you can turn it off, but I don't want it on there.
Isn't the
Can you
gig
take
bar
it off?
move,
Am I wrong?
doesn't the gig bar move just have 2 movers and 2 wash?
It's
No.
whatever the
Well, it depends on which one we're talking about.
Yeah.
So there
I
is
thought there was one there was a basic one that just had the 2 movers and the 2 wash.
I just think the
And
laser
I
should
agree
be
with you
banned.
100%. Stop putting the dots and the lasers on my stuff.
Yeah.
If I want it there, I'd put it there.
It would bring the price down. You guys would save on shipping and packaging.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not 100% sure why why there's the big push of having that laser piece thrown in there. You know what? Even the regular move has the laser. I was trying to double check here, and I think
Yeah, and that's why I with a caveat of like I haven't seen everything that's out there, but every time I see something, it's got lasers at the top. Just stop it already.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
So I will say I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you as far as what I would hope for. I would love to have. I'm going to go with what's out there first. So I've been kind of hit and miss for the longest time, but if I'm going to go with what is out there, I want the gig bar move, the ILS, not because I want the ILS stuff. All right, Chevette, I think you're great with what you're doing, but I'm not running a bunch of these lights where I need the universe to talk to each other so that I have this coordinated light show. If you do and you have that, I think Chevette was brilliant in being able to put that into an automatic piece that you talk to one and it talks to the others. I think that what they did with that was great. I'm not running all that, so I don't need that piece. But the ILS has stronger movers. I think they're up to so the original gig bar move I think has 10-watt movers. The ILS has 25-watt. And so I saw them at Expo, much brighter, much stronger in that aspect. The pars are hex, I think, if I remember correctly. And then there was something else that was improved upon, but there was significant number of improvements over the regular gig bar move that I thought was great. My hypothetical with that, there's a better hypothetical I have, but there's a hypothetical with that. I wish it would be in white. It's not in white yet. It's only in black with the ILS. Again, if I'm going to the white evolves, I need to have the white light stand too.
And there are some people that are cringing about the all white. I see it all the time.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
there. I'm like, I'm just, I know it looks really good, and I've seen, I think it's Rachel has it all white too, and I've seen the all white setups, and I'm like, wow, that looks really good. Man, that get really dirty really fast.
I don't think it's as bad as we all worry about. As long as long as you halfway take care of your gear, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people worry about. For example, look at the cars out on the highway that are white. Half the time they're dirty and you don't even notice it until they've been cleaned. Right. It's just one of those things. So as long as you're somewhat taking care of it, I think you're okay. It's not the black that might, you basically take a permanent marker to and fix. But
like I'd love to have the black has been around for the longest time, and one of the reasons why I went with the white, it's different. It's I do get looks not only from guests but my clients, staff at venues. They stop and they're like, "What is that?" It's a different kind of feeling that I'm getting, but eventually there's going to be so many out there that's going to get saturated too. It's not going to be such a unique thing anymore. But right now I'm loving that. I would like to have my same setup in black. That's the other thing. So I'd like to have the option. It's like, well, this event doesn't want all white, or it doesn't call for an all white setup. So I would like to have that option, but that's what Santa can bring me this year, and an all black setup. And if I could get my Max Design Infinity DJ console in black, I'm the happiest camper, because then I would have my choice for either one for the
final wrap it.
Yeah.
The one thing that where I worry about the all white, so while we're on that topic, is this has only really come up one time, but it kind of reinforced that I'm glad I didn't go to the all white yet. I had a couple whose colors were ivory. So they didn't have anything white. They had that off white. They had, like that other piece, to the point that my white then would have stood out.
It would have clashed.
Exactly. So that's where I'm like, ooh, I'm glad I didn't do that yet. But what about you, Aaron? What lighting would you like to see? Or what lighting do you hope shows up?
Something that speaks to itself, that I don't have to I don't like DMX. I said it. I don't like DMX programming. I don't like making scenes. I don't like making chases. In fact, it got to the point where I don't like it so much, I hired my son to do it. So if I have to go to a lighting show that's more than, you know what, I'll run a couple cables in between them. I'll make them all flash the same color. If it's like, I dumb it down for myself as much as possible, because I don't like it that much. I'd like to go with I can't remember the name of the program. You run it on an iPad and you just hit the button and it changes the sequences for you, and it doesn't, something like that. Something easy, simple, where they all talk to each other and I don't have to run cables. Battery powered, wireless. I know, what's that company? Ape Labs makes really nice stuff. I wouldn't cry if a set of those showed up. I know a lot of people are using them and they really like them. I've had Chauvet for years. They've always been really good to me. Warranty's been good with me. I got nothing bad to say about them. And ADJ, I ran ADJ stuff for a long time. I still have like a bunch of their stuff that I run. And then last year I replaced a bunch of my lighting with some just cheap Amazon Pars just around my booth and stuff. Just to light my booth up. I don't need anything big back there. You can't see it. It just makes a color. So that's all I didn't need anything expensive for that. Just a little bit of wash for the floors. But yeah, I wouldn't mind some of the ape stuff. That stuff looks really good. And it all talks to each other and hit a button and it works. And
Yeah, the ape labs are fantastic. I mean, I've got the green one behind me. That's an 8 coin. I think the 8 coins are probably the coolest underrated things out there.
Absolutely, they are. They're just
hard to
small.
get now.
You
Yeah,
throw them on a table and
they're magnetic on the back too. So if you got like a
oh,
metal on the wall, boom, sticks right to it.
nice.
Yeah, they're fantastic. But they're apparently they're sold out. Like they're hard to find right now.
Heard that.
Good luck.
That's like a lot of things, though. A lot of things are really difficult to get right now. That's why I don't mind ordering some budget friendly stuff off of Amazon and replace it as need be for now until I can get those in. Or figure out exactly what I want, because I'm still on the fence about that. Like I said, I'm just not a fan of DMX.
Me either.
As much as John Colley has tried to help me over the years, and as smart as he is with his lighting, and Howie, and as patient as they've been with me, I'm still not a lighting tech.
The DMX.
I am 100% on board with you. I will say that there are two things that I've wanted to do. Something like what you mentioned. Half the time, I mean, I run DMX, but what I use is I use it to trigger the sound active programs that are built into the light. So there's ways, the light that I mainly run is set up that way. There's a couple different pre-built shows, and I just kind of trigger which one, and then static when I need to go static. But I will say, and we did a video on this at Expo. So there's Sound Switch, which is out there. There's another one that's similar to Sound Switch. That we did a show, or I did a video on at Expo, and if you haven't checked it out, it's kind of cool. Again, a standalone type of that one's actually more of a standalone piece.
Is that the AI?
Yes, that's the one.
Those lighting AIs are absolutely one of the coolest pieces I saw at Expo, and I sat and I talked to those guys for quite a while, and I loved what that box did. Like it reads the waveform of the song and then helps your speakers react to it. I was like, sign me up. Sign me up. I mean, they're on pre-order still, right, Dan?
Yeah, that was the other thing, because somebody said, well, how much are they? They're still in that pre-order stage. So I put my information in to say, hey, shoot me an email when you're a little bit, because that's the other thing. It's not like they're taking pre-orders. Like they're compiling their list of people that are showing interest. And then they're going to, when they're at their production stage, it was more of a
show and tell
demo.
Kind of a thing. Yeah, it was like a beta version they had out, and I loved it. And I'm pretty sure I gave my card too. I said, when this thing is ready to go, please call me. Because I would.
So here's my hypothetical.
Go ahead.
I want a hex wash. Like I want something like the 4-bar, like tri, quad, whatever they're up to now. But I want it as a hex. We've got all of our uplights that are hexes.
Yeah.
I can't match that.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I like to do, like if I've got a room that's uplit and stuff like that, I like to shoot all around the edges. I don't want to bathe everything in it, but I want the accents. And then I like to accent the ceiling, throughout in the beginning, especially. And if I'm running certain colors to match, that becomes almost near impossible. What I think annoys me more than anything, so I reached out to a couple of the companies to say, hey, you got this in your uplights. What's the chance of doing it in a bar? Oh, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And yet the gig bar move, 2 of the pars are hexes. And other ones like that, where they've kind of gone that direction. And yes, I know I could put a bar and I could attach some par cans to it or some, the wireless uplights, and I could attach it. Yep. I don't want to attach it. I want it already done. Kind of with that. I don't want to have to think about the programming, the scenes. Yep. I want to be able to hit the button and they all kind of do their thing the way the 4 bars do, because I love how that works. And I mainly run a wash, but I want it in hex.
Yeah. I just thought of something I would love to show up on my desk, on my doorstep, or under my tree, or wherever.
There you
The
go.
JMAZ battery powered movers.
Mm.
I like that. That's the only reason I don't use movers is because I don't like running cables. And
Yeah.
if I could get a pair of those, that would be fantastic. They're like $1,000 each or something like that or more.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I've seen them. They're at DJX and at PBX too. They're freaking amazing.
JMS has got some really cool things out there, some really good lighting, and
They do.
the fact that they really focused on just the straight up battery powered for it all, battery powered wireless. I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about that in a moving head, those of you who have had, all right, now I've got to somehow run cable over to my totem that I really didn't want to have to put over there,
In the first place.
and now I've got to run cable over there.
Yep.
So now it's just like I'm going to put a totem there because that's the perfect spot for it, and I'm going to have battery and I'm going to have wireless, and it's what I need. Now that they're nice.
Yeah, anything battery because it's like,
Oh.
we've got an X amount of time to set up, right?
Yep.
And we got to get out per the venues. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time prepping anyway. It's like I don't want to be the setting up and the loading down to be the dread of the night at all. I want it to be quick in and out, and anything battery power, that works, right? That just
Yeah.
makes it so much
That's
easier.
the key. It's got to have the right battery in it. It's got to be able
Yeah.
to sustain through the night. There's nothing. I'm here to concentrate on the music. I'm the DJ, not the lighting guy.
Yeah.
I'm here to concentrate on the dance floor. My focus is on the bride and the groom, or it's on the couple, or whoever happens to be. It's like I have other things I care about.
Yeah.
I mean, I just did a show Saturday night and we had a pro lighting tech, like a professional lighting tech. This guy hangs out with Alice Cooper's lighting people. He knows his lighting system was amazing. And I walk in and I do the music and he did the lighting. And I'm like, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
I love this. I love the fact I don't have to do this. I looked over, I'm like, thank you for being here. And he's like, I get paid to be here. No, you don't understand. You're taking an element out of this I don't want to do at all, and you're owning it. It's so good. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
you can concentrate on your craft.
Yeah, and I don't have to worry about, does this hook up to this? Is this light? Why isn't that light syncing with this light? I pressed D001 on the back of the light when I plugged it in. It should be flashing the same color as the rest of them. What is wrong? Oh, that's that one-off light that's not the same color as the other lights. It's the cheap one. I got to take it out. I don't I don't want to do it.
Right?
Everybody's like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Like everybody's groaning right now because they all have that moments.
I just opened up the live chat there. I'm just looking at everybody. Yeah.
Robin's saying, Art, that you must have been really good this year based upon some of the things that you've been asking for, or you think's going to show up. So you must have been really good. Tube lights.
I earned it.
I'm kind of over the tube light thing already. I think they look cool. I think they're nice. I was kind of gung ho in possibly going that direction at one point because they do have there's a lot of things that are available to them. They have programs that are built in and that quick, easy to be able to use, and they're battery powered.
They look like a lightsaber. I love it.
Yeah, there is that part that's nice. But I just, for whatever reason, I've kind of I was glad I didn't make the investment because I'm kind of the point right now. I'm like, I'm past them. And you know what? Next year I might go, oh, I wish I'd pick them up. But I kind of came off of that for a little bit. So I'd be, if they showed up, Santa, thank you. But if they don't, I'm not going to be mad at Santa. So, all right. So let's shift here because we're running slow on time. We're running almost out of time. Controllers. Let's go. Let's actually we'll lump it together. We'll lump it together.
All right.
Controllers and booths. All right. Controllers and things to hold controllers. How about that? The controllers and things to hold controllers.
I would like the Rain 1 to have onboard effects, please. I love my Rain 1. I want an onboard effects on a Rain 1. I wish that could magically just I don't want to have to get another one. So that's what I would want. I love my Rain 1. I just do.
Okay. Aaron?
Okay. I know a lot of my friends I'm going to get this later, and I'm sure in the chat they're going to light me up pretty good, but I want an RX3. I really like the Pioneer. I think Pioneer's figured it out. I'm a Denon guy. Sorry, Jay Brandon. I'm a Denon guy, and I have been for quite a long time, but after hanging out with the RX3 for a while, I'm like, that is really nice. I might actually look at buying one. It's a great controller. It really is really nice. The brand new Denon stuff is good, and then they put speakers in it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Prime 4.
Well,
I'll give an honorable mention to the Prime 4. I would not kick that out of my bed for eating crackers, but I would take either. But the RX3 is really nice. And I do want to say really quick, the Roland 808 and 707 are great machines. I spent a little bit of time with the 707. The built-in drum machine that's in there, I think I'd rather prefer it for
Oh, that's
doing
cool.
production work and recording and stuff. The
Yeah.
Roland has put a lot of work into the 808 and the 707 that I think needs mentioning. I don't think they get enough press and they're enough credit because I think they're going to drop the line. I don't think Roland's going to be making any DJ gear after this year, from what I've been hearing, which is too bad because I really believe the IO on those are fantastic. The stuff, the build quality in there is really good. Not taken away from the other big brands. I mean, I did pick up a Newmark FX this year. I'm really happy with it for the most part. Little things here and there, but yeah, standalone. The RX3 is with record box. Good job, Pioneer. It's really nice. Dan?
so I've been kind of frustrated because when it comes to controllers, I've kind of had this issue for a little while. So let me first put this way. What do I want Santa to bring? I want Santa to bring a Rain 1. That's what I wanted. That's what I would love to have show up underneath. I actually was tried to
Can
pull
I
the
say
trigger a
Rain
couple.
1 or 4?
Rain 1. No, Rain
Okay.
1.
Right
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there.
Yeah, there it is. I was gonna pull the trigger a couple months ago, and when I reached out, they were sold out. They were on back order, and then it was like no joke. A week later, the tease for the Rain 4 came out, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad I didn't buy. I'm gonna hold out. Rain 4 videos come out. I've watched all that stuff. The features that are there that makes the Rain 4 awesome are features I would not touch in my normal play.
Like,
The things that set it apart, the splitting the stems and having them on individual channels and then being able to potentially scratch with the vocals while the instrumental's playing, like
right.
they're awesome features, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
And the guys and gals that are going to pick that up and that are going to run and do some fantastic, I think it's an awesome piece of gear. I think there's a new direction that controllers are going to go because of what Rain has experimented with the Rain 4. And I think there's some others that are probably going to do something similar, and it's going to become extremely awesome. But for my style and what I feel comfortable on and what I feel comfortable doing out and about, the Rain 4 just isn't for me. The Rain 1 has a lot of the features that I like. It has the inputs that I want. It has all the pieces and the motorized piece. There's a couple things that I wish it had. The onboard effects I wasn't aware of, but I'm a virtual guy, so some of that really wouldn't matter too much. I think I'd be able to work around and MIDI map what I'm hoping I could. But here's what I would like. I would like something like the MC7000, right?
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh
I
yeah.
really like that system. And I've had some people go, well, the SRT. Yeah, for about $800 more than what the 7,000, maybe not 800, but it's significantly more expensive for what I'm looking for. What I've really seen, and this is my wish list here now, is there's a big gap in the price market between controllers. You've got entry level bedroom DJ controllers, and that are in the under 500, and then you've got the professional controllers, which are now above 1,500 in a lot of cases. The SRT, I think, is 14, maybe it's 13, but it's somewhere in that. So it's getting close to that. And everything else that's come out has been in that above 1,500 range, where before you used to be able to get a professional controller that would hold up in the $700 to $800 range. Now, I know cost has gone up, so I'm expecting, okay, if it's in the $1,000 range, that's still something that to me is good. But they keep having all these controllers under 500. You keep having these others up at 1500. There's a big gap in there that I'd like to see some things come out. I don't necessarily need all the features of the Rain 4. So if I took those away, maybe, but I understand. And I'm not in production, of making these controllers. So I understand why these companies are doing it.
You definitely have to get the one
something in
that's
that
right
gap.
for you. You
What was
got to
that?
have the one that's right for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know your market, you know what you use it for. If you knew what I use in my regular mobile, if you've been through my Instant, all my stuff, you know I use a Denon 4000 for most of my mobile events. I don't need 4 channels. I don't. The RX doesn't have, the RX3 doesn't. It's only got 2. So I only need the 2 because I know me. I bought a 4-channel controller. I've had the SX, the SX2, and the 3 for about 3 weeks. Then I switched over to Denon. And when I did that, I realized I don't use the 4 channels. And then recently, Newmark came out, Rain, Denon, Newmark, they're all owned by the same company.
Yeah.
They're all owned by the same company. And I'm like, let me try the brand new Newmark that just came out. Cause I thought, you know what, maybe they took some of the Denon stuff now and they're incorporating it, and they did. And I really like it. And I still don't use the other 2 channels. I'm like, okay.
So we gotta kind of wrap this up. So I'm going to I want a miscellaneous here in a moment.
Okay.
I want something that doesn't fit into what we talked about.
I got it.
But I while we're on the topic of controllers and stuff like that, I really think the InMusic brand we're starting to see what the InMusic brand is going to do with their systems. And I may be completely wrong, and please don't get mad at me, Denon people, if I am wrong, because you didn't tell me otherwise. So fill me in and I won't spread lies. But my thought is that the Denon brand is going to be your standalone types, right? Your Newmark is going to be your budget to mid-range.
Yeah.
And your Rain is going to be your professional, your professional line and your upper professional line. That's my personal opinion. I have no basis other than kind of what I witnessed with those 3 products and what they've started to put out and what they've discontinued creating.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So let's talk miscellaneous before we hand things over to Howie tonight. It's something that I didn't cover that you would like to show up.
I have one. I've been watching the Spotify thing on Netflix, and I haven't watched it all the way through yet. But again, I'm not knowledgeable on every single controller, every piece of software out there. Is there a direct integration with Spotify into a controller or software?
There
used to be virtual had it.
Yeah,
like a Beat Source and things like that used to be there. Came down to a licensing thing in Spotify.
And that's and if you watch the Spotify, have you guys watched it yet?
No.
So it was all about, Pirate Bay came on and the record industry was all against it because they couldn't monetize it. So I'm wondering if down the road at some point they're going to say, hey, we can monetize this. Anytime a DJ plays a Spotify on their controller, the artists are getting, a piece of the pie. Who knows?
Well, the brand new Denon is now able to stream from Amazon Music. So it has the codecs built inside it to allow it to go with that. And that was a big thing for me when they brought that out. I'm like, Denon's really hitting the mark with that. I think it's going to appeal to a lot of people. And I think they did a pretty smart thing there.
But most of the couples and clients are not making Amazon Music lists, they're making Spotify lists.
But most of that
right, but being able to pull those tracks that are one-offs or whatever that are kind of out there, and having in a larger company like Amazon, I think that there is something to be said for that. In the piece. What about you? What about you, Aaron? What's your miscellaneous?
Man.
All right, I'll share mine while you're thinking.
That booth that's sitting right next to Art would be pretty nice. I was going to wear my Max shirt tonight. I wouldn't mind those. Those are so nice. I'm not going to lie. When you panned over to the booth there, I'm like, you got to. No, you're going to make me drool again. Okay, see? Okay, quit.
It's nice.
They
That
are.
is
They are.
so
They are
nice.
extremely nice. Danny did an awesome job.
Yeah,
on
I was
that.
gonna wear
Yeah.
my Mac shirt tonight. But yeah, so nice.
Yeah,
It's like
I've
it was
got
designed by R2D2. I just love it. It just looks really cool. Looks futuristic. It's clean.
yeah.
I mean, I use the ADJ event table, and every time I bring it out, every person's like, "Wow, you got your own DJ booth." And I'm like sitting there thinking, just wait till next year.
Yeah, I mean, any of these booths are really, I mean, they're all fantastic. It's a step up from the cocktail
Yeah.
table with the cloth.
Oh yeah, I've been out of that for a while now.
You step
Yeah.
up.
Not that that's bad. I mean, really, most of the people don't care. They're just there to have a good time. They want to
No,
hear
but
good
you know
music
what? When
and
you bring a
dance.
piece of furniture with you and you bring your own booth, it elevates the show. When the people see it and they see it lit or they see the
Yeah.
lights on it and they do, people really pay attention to that. I know I can't
Yeah.
charge more for it, I can't make more for it, but it looks really cool and they'll remember you. If
Yeah.
you're just sitting on a table and you're showing up, where's my table or what? It's like, try a little bit harder. People will remember you. They will,
I
because
love
they'll be
when
like, wow,
photographers take a picture of my booth.
yes.
Like, or because I got, let me rephrase it. I got the rolling one. I've also got a Danny Max one.
Oh yeah.
But because of the TV in the front, my couples will stand in front of it, and the photographer gets a picture. So yeah.
Yep.
Listen, did they pay more for it? No, but I'll tell you right now, that publicity paid for
Yep.
itself
That
time and
keeps you
time and
busier.
time again.
It does.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
by miscellaneous, I
Yes, sir.
want a utility van. I want like the
Yeah.
Ford Transit or the
You're not-
Dodge ProMaster or
I need
the
it.
I had it
Sprinter.
on my
Well, you know
list
what? If Santa's
van.
showing up, I want the Sprinter van. But
Yeah.
if I'm paying for it, we're
8
going
tiny
for the cheap
reindeer
one.
pulling it.
Yeah, there you go. But no, I would love to have one. I'm so tired of the trailer life. I really am.
Me too.
Just the backing up aspect and stuff like that. I want a little bit more concise. I want to be able to pull in, pull out, be done. And so having something like that, I think would really be nice. But
I'm with
Santa,
you
just
100%.
saying.
I know buddy in Chicago right now is going, I have a Sprinter van. I know he's saying it. It's
Oh.
probably, I'm waiting for him to say it in the chat. Buddy from Chicago, TBM Productions. He's got a beautiful van. It's completely outfitted. It's got the trays and the racks and everything set up in there. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
with you, Dan. I'm with you 100%, man.
Me too.
I wish I had a
Me
van.
too.
All-wheel drive, get us through the winter.
And by the way, I will say this. I will say Robin just wants a new floor mat.
That's
So
it. That's it.
she apparently is not very greedy from Santa. I don't,
Is that-
Robin, either
Robin,
that or
you
you
want-
have not been good. I'm not sure which.
It's a floor
Is it
mat
like an
surrounded by a
anti-fatigue
van.
mat? Robin, is it anti-fatigue mat that you want, or is it like? I'll get you. I got extra floor mats in my truck if that's what you're looking for.
I think she's talking about anti-fatigue because this was
I'm
also
hoping.
mentioned a little bit ago. This is before we started talking vehicles. So
Okay.
all right. So guys, unfortunately we got to wrap it up because I will say coming up next is going to be Hanging with Howie. For those of you that have not yet checked it out, Robin dropped it into the chat, djntv.com/chill. You're going to want to go there. So see the show. You can turn off your cameras, turn off your mics, watch what happens live. And then after about 20 minutes, they all wrap it up and then they say, all right, let's just talk and let's have a good time tonight. And it's kind of like that after effect. So you get to be a part of that and enjoy. That is coming up next. I have no idea his topic tonight, but it doesn't matter. It's a great show anytime. Howie does a great job. Him and all the crew that jump in there. It's just fantastic what they do. Next week, looking ahead to next week. So it'll be John, Cubby, and myself. And we are going to be doing some Q&A stuff. So that seems to be what a lot of the feedback we've been getting is you guys love that. You've been presenting ideas. So if you haven't yet passed your idea to John, like a question you have, make sure you send it over to him. Or put it on one of our pieces and we'll get it. Or just join us and ask. But usually the ones you ask in the chat room, we save for the next time we have a show. Like, so don't be offended if we don't answer your question. We see it, we just copy and paste it for another show. So, but that'll be next Monday. And then I don't know if I think the 26th we might be off. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, have yourself a wonderful night. You two gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time to join me. Tonight's show obviously would have been very boring without the two of you. But I love your ideas. And I think Santa needs to bring you to you all. Everything you asked for tonight and then some.
We appreciate you, Dan. Thank you for having us on the show, and we appreciate it. Thanks for all your work.
Thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
to see you, Aaron. Good to see you.
Dude,
All right.
take care.
So
Good seeing you. All right.
DJNTV.com/chill.